What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today is an exciting day here at the shop because we are going to take my 2020 6.7 PowerStroke engine that we did a bunch of conversion stuff on, and we're going to put it in my 2017 F350 with the 6.7 PowerStroke. We bought this thing with a compound turbo on it about 6 months ago. It blew up, melted some pistons. We were initially going to rebuild the engine. We ended up learning that the 2020 engine is the best one because it has steel pistons, which handle the heat a lot better. It has a upgraded set of connecting rods, so they're a little bit beefier, bigger fuel injectors, and it's just capable of holding a lot more power without having some issues, because the last engine melted the aluminum pistons, because aluminum pistons in a steel block, they expand at a different rate. So we got to finish up a couple things on the 6.7, do a couple little conversion things to get it ready, so that way the 2017 harness is happy. We're going to get started on that, and then we're going to shove it in this big, beautiful truck right here. Let's go. Eric. Hello. Good morning. You guys have seen maybe in one of the last videos, we took a 2020 complete engine, fully dressed engine. We swapped a ton of stuff off of it, and then now we're going to install it in my 2017. So there's a couple differences that we've kind of talked about in the previous videos, which kind of outlines a couple of things. Cam sensor in the front, crank sensor in the rear. The oil pan is different. The oil filter housing is different. The oil pump is different. The turbo system is different. There's a lot of things that are different, but essentially in order to make it work in a 2017, you have to put all of the 2017 stuff on it. So you could do the 2017 front cover and oil pump and oil pan, as well as the 2017 turbo, and then pretty much all that stuff works. We did install the S&S diesel DCR conversion fuel pump on this thing. So it has the bigger, better fuel pump, which is less susceptible to, like, you know, fuel contamination, and they're just a more reliable pump than the CP4. Also flow a little bit more fuel, which means we'll be able to make more power. Since we have the 2020 injectors in here, those all plugged in. I guess these injectors are a little bit bigger. And then we have the compound turbo setup that is getting ready to go back on it. We're waiting on some bolts to kind of bolt it on this little pedestal right here. As soon as we get that thing bolted on, we're gonna go ahead and shove it in this truck. This thing has been without an engine for far too long. I think it's been like 4 months, 4 or 5 months, just sitting there looking at me. And it's a nice truck. I'm pretty stoked. This is kind of what I would consider like the ultimate tow rig with all of the combination of parts. We have the 6-speed transmission, we have the 2020 engine, which is capable of holding a lot more power, as well as the compound turbo setup, which is going to give us a lot of top end power. And I also have some other goodies for this thing. We bought a parts truck last week, and it actually has a 65-gallon Titan fuel tank on it. So this thing is literally going to be the road trip king. Yeah. Like, imagine this thing on road trip. We're going to have to pee so bad because we're not going to have to stop for fuel. Never ever stop. 65 gallons of fuel. That's crazy, because normally, like, this truck has a 48-gallon tank in it, which is already really nice. But then you add another 17 gallons on top of that, and you say, golly. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and start plugging away on this thing. All right, so Eric is gonna pressure wash the bottom of the truck over there, right? Oh yeah. Well, it's kind of gross. Here, come take a look. So this truck has had a compound turbo setup on it for, I think, the last 5 years or so. And so in doing that, they had the crankcase vent just like going underneath the truck. So like, imagine just oil vapor over 5 years, just kind of like, you know, being like a fog underneath here, going up underneath all this stuff. And then, you know, maybe it hurt a piston a long time ago and it's just been doing this. So anyhow, we're gonna pressure wash under here. The frame is all pressure washed. I have the turbo system, which is ready to go on. I figured out some studs for it. We pretty much just grab this fella right here, which is this big ATS Aurora 6000 unit. Just set it right here on the studs. It's definitely heavy. And then I need to put nuts on it, and then we'll be good. Also, the intake manifold like goes over the top, and then in the back right here, we have this setup, which this goes to the factory turbo. So exhaust comes out of the factory turbo into this like new turbo. So essentially, like, you know, it's just eating the exhaust from this one, doubles it, makes more power. I think we got to pull the exhaust housing off of it to get to the bolts to tighten all that stuff. So that's a little, it's not fun, but we'll do her.
Definitely turned out better than I thought it was gonna. Just like that, ladies and gentlemen, he's wrestled that snake.
All right, boys, there it is. She's all in there, officially bolted in. Everything's looking really good. Transmission's bolted in, torque converter bolts are in, engine mount bolts are in. It's nice to see the turbo actually bolted on here. When we first got this whole, this truck, I think a shop had it previously, and they had like loosely unbolted some stuff, and I think they took the valve cover off of it and then just set the turbo back on, so there was like no bolts, so the turbo just like wiggled around and did a bunch of stuff, which wasn't ideal. But yeah, now that this thing is it's all officially bolted on there. Initially I was kind of scared of the whole compound turbo kit, but now like seeing everything on here and the way that it's laid out, I think it's going to be just fine. We should be able to get this thing running on Monday, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm looking into some tuning options. Since this truck was running around for so long, I'm assuming this like the files or the tuning that's on it is okay for now. But yeah, I'm just really excited because, you know, this 2020 engine with the steel pistons, everything is going to be able to handle a lot more heat, a lot more power, all that other stuff. And I think, you know, again, my biggest concern now is the transmission. But if we end up having an issue with that, we'll just build it and do something. But man, just lots of money, you know. That's kind of why I was like trying to decide. I'm like, do we just put this thing back 100% stock, because then you don't have to replace a transmission, or hopefully you don't have to replace one. Whereas like if you put the back together with a compound turbo kit on it, well, the likelihood of having to replace the transmission increases a little bit. But yeah, there she is. Should be ready to drop down on Monday. But appreciate you guys watching this video. Let me know what you think of the month maybe so far. Definitely getting a lot of things done. We got the Sunny engine bay painted, we got this engine all ready to go, and Jamie got her Porsche. So appreciate you guys watching. See you later.